To everything, there is a season. Today, I was having a little chat with a beautiful woman who is becoming a really good friend, and we were talking about how often we are completely missing the obvious detail that's in front of us. For example, I'm working with somebody right now who is attempting to figure out what his actual sole purpose is. He is employed in an organization where he does a really great job at what he does, and he's one of the only experts who does that job. And it's really demanding, and in some ways, it's fulfilling because, it's kind of easy for him, and he's basically at the top of his game at that level. But he feels deeply unfulfilled. He feels deeply discombobulated, and like he actually doesn't know where the real current of his life force is meant to flow to, what is needing to move through him. And I want to say this, it's not that we always have to have some giant, really amazing purpose in order to feel like we have any kind of worth. That's not the point. The point is what I started this podcast with. Sometimes we miss the little details that are actually giving us a hint about what is closing out and what might be coming in. Maybe something is wanting to shuffle some of the scenery in your life around so that it can come in. And the thing is that it's easier, even for me, to just keep in the somatic routine of doing the thing that I have been doing for a really long time. And so we don't carve out real, proper, energetic mental space, emotional space to just sit with this little feeling in our bodies. This person that I'm talking to you about, who is figuring out, like, what am I here for? Why am I even evening? Why am I consuming all this food, paying bills, moving around in circles? And this is not a person who started on a soul journey towards their heart yesterday. Okay, this is somebody who's been on a really intentional, conscious journey for a while, and yet he still doesn't know where he fits. So instead of helping him puzzle through all the personality development things he's ever done, helping him run a number of cycles and fill out spreadsheets about his strengths and his weaknesses and what opportunities there are and threats, blah, blah. What I've been doing is helping him offload all the things that are creating noise. Because this is the real truth. Somewhere underneath all the purgy feelings is actually a really clear, beautiful signal. Now, it might require somebody on the outside to just ask good questions and help you clear those extra things off the table. Or it might just take a real intentionality to not be in the mode of pushing, seeking, asking, knocking, and rather be in the mode of being like, what is already here that I'm not hearing? What is already here that I'm not perceiving? What part of me is already nudging me forward, pulling me out of this cycle that I've been in for so long? Which part of me is already going down the road of this new thing I want? I want to know what I'm here for. Sometimes the answer is not in a really big revelation. Sometimes the answer is in leaning into what is already present and following that track and following it and following it and following it and listening deep past our mental body and what it thinks, and listening beyond the feels of I don't know what I'm doing right now, and just hanging out there for a hot minute and seeing what emerges. This is a bit of a continuation from yesterday's theme, but it's really been coming through very strongly. if you are in between cycles, if you don't even really know where you are in space and time because you're like, holy fuck balls, it's been a wild season, then you really need to hear this. Somewhere in your current reality is a little hint, there is a clue for the tiny step that your soul is already nudging you towards. Give it a go. Peel away the things that are on top of all of the cleverness, peel away all the noise, and look for the little clue.